I moved into an old Victorian house in Salem, Massachusetts, just before Halloween. 2 floors, an attic, a basement, and a small backyard, and it was surprisingly cheap. The realtor said something vague about unfortunate history, but I didn't care. I'm a writer. I was looking for isolation, and strange places don't scare me. They inspire me. The first week was uneventful. A few creaking floorboards, cold drafts, faint sounds at night. All normal for a house this old. I didn't think twice about it. But then, I started noticing things. Late one night, while writing in my study, I thought I saw someone pass by the hallway downstairs. Just a shadow, a flicker of movement. I told myself it was probably headlights or my reflection. But the next night, I saw it again. Clearer. A figure standing at the bottom of the staircase. When I went to check, nothing. The doors were locked. The house was silent. The next morning, I got a notification from the security system. Motion detected basement. But the basement door had been locked since I moved in. I hadn't even gone down there. Eventually, curiosity got the best of me. I unlocked the basement and went down. The smell was awful, damp, earthy, and metallic, like rust and mold mixed together. The walls were covered in black patches. Old boxes, broken furniture, spiderwebs, nothing unusual on the surface. But the air felt heavy, like the room didn't want me there. That night, I started hearing footsteps. Slow, deliberate, pacing across the living room while I lay in bed upstairs. When I got up to check, the house was completely still. Then came the knocking. 3 sharp, rhythmic knocks. Always from below. Always at the same time, 3:17 a.m. I couldn't ignore it anymore. I started digging into the house's history. At the local library, I found an old article from 1979. A college student named Jonathan Lawrence had rented this house. One night, he disappeared. No signs of struggle, no explanation. Neighbors said they'd heard strange noises before it happened. Knocking, footsteps, voices. When the police searched the house, they found a section of wall in the basement that didn't match the original layout. Behind it was a sealed-off chamber. Just empty space and claw marks on the bricks, as if someone or something had tried to get out. That story stayed in my mind for days. One night, I was sitting in my chair, trying to write, when I heard it again. 3 slow knocks. I grabbed a crowbar and flashlight and went down to the basement. The far wall looked newer, sloppily patched. I pried at the bricks until they began to fall away. Behind them, I found a hidden room, no bigger than a closet. In the center was a metal chair, bolted to the floor. Leather straps hung from its arms. The walls were covered in deep scratches, more like gouges. It wasn't a cell. It was a cage. From that night on, I couldn't sleep. I set up cameras throughout the house. That very night, at 3:17, one camera caught something in the kitchen. A tall, thin figure with long, unnatural limbs. It didn't enter the frame. It was just there. Suddenly, standing still in the corner. I called the police. They reviewed the footage and blamed it on a glitch. But the way they looked at each other, like they'd seen this before, told me they knew more than they said. Soon after, I started seeing him without the camera, reflected in mirrors, standing in the hallway, at the edge of my vision, always silent, always watching. Then, I found a note on the kitchen table, in my handwriting, but I hadn't written it. He was locked in. You let him out. Now wait. I began losing time, waking up in the basement, flashlight in hand, with no memory of getting there. One night, I came to in that hidden room, sitting in the chair. The straps were undone, but my wrists were sore, red, like something had held them tightly for hours. That's when I called a priest. I didn't know what else to do. He stepped inside the house and immediately stopped. He said there was something here, something old. Not a ghost, not a demon, just a presence, watching, waiting. He began a blessing ritual. The walls began to shake. Light bulbs burst overhead. And from the basement we heard a scream. Not human, not even close. A deep, guttural roar that shook the floor. The priest dropped his things and ran. He didn't even close the front door behind him. And he never came back. After that, I stopped trying to leave. I can't. Every time I try, the house shifts. I open the front door, and there's the basement. I step outside, and I'm back in the hallway. It's like the house folds in on itself, keeping me here. And I'm not alone. The presence isn't just watching anymore. It's part of the house. Or maybe the house is part of it. It fed on Jonathan. Now it's feeding on me. It grows stronger when I'm afraid. It wants me to be afraid. I don't know how long I've been here. Days blend together. The clocks don't work. The phone rings sometimes, but there's no one on the line. Just breathing. Sometimes a whisper. You're part of it now. If you're hearing this, please stay away. Don't come near this house. And if you ever hear 3 knocks in the middle of the night, don't answer, because he's still here. The man downstairs is always waiting.